Hi, welcome to Supervision with a Vision. Today, Heather and I are talking about ways that AI has changed learning. This week we read AI Didn't Break Learning, It Removed the Need to Try, published in Psychology Today 2026. Okay, Heather, so we're talking about new ways that we are all learning using AI. The first point is that using AI without thinking decreases the learning that happens.
Sure, because it's not getting you to go further than whatever what could be simplified. Simply like asking it a question like, "What's the weather?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna. It's a simple question. It's not. You're not gonna. You're not gonna learn how to predict weather just by asking it a question.
Uh-huh. What are ways that you see this happening?
I think.
Like maybe, for example, I'm both impressed and it's kind of a bummer when I hear kids that I'm working with that they know how to use a lot of the AI tools
Oh,
around their
sure.
house,
Yeah.
and it does make things convenient and simple, but they're not understanding the process.
Sure.
So maybe like a really simple answer is that a young kid could ask AI what time it is,
Sure.
and AI will tell them, or even better, that they ask AI to set a timer
Oh, sure.
for something,
Right.
whatever they're doing, right? That
Right.
and it sets a timer, tells them the time, but it means that then they're not actually practicing telling time
Right.
using a clock,
Sure. It's
or
a great
they
example.
don't know how to measure what 5 minutes looks like on a
Mm-hmm.
clock. That
Right.
they are just listening.
Right. They're waiting for the timer to go off instead of.
For
Right.
so they're, and not that doing this all the time is a bad thing, but they're relying on AI to do the work of it.
Sure. I think so many things now in our house can be used with AI that a lot of kids don't even know what it would be like not to have that available to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like to say
Mm-hmm.
out loud, set a timer for,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mm-hmm. Wonder if we can think of any others where the way that we sometimes use AI means that it takes the steps or the process out of it, so we're not a part of the process anymore. Which is,
Right.
again, part of the reason for AI, but it makes it maybe in some ways too convenient.
Yeah. I think just those kind of automated things, but also maps that we use.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I realized a few summers ago my kids didn't know how to read actual paper maps like or like
Oh yeah.
project like how because the car will tell you it's going to take 10 hours to our next stop or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but do they actually know how to read a map or what other roads could we take or what are the other options?
Sure.
That's all like a
Okay.
skill that's no longer.
Well, now that's got me thinking, what about reading? I
Oh.
like the convenience of sometimes reading something with through audio,
Oh yeah, sure.
like an audiobook.
Right.
But you and I are already proficient in reading. What if you're a brand new reader
And you don't
and you're
read, right?
listening to the book
Mm-hmm.
rather than actually looking at the word? I don't, that would really slow down learning to read.
Sure. I mean, I think it's a convenient go-to if
Yeah.
you need to.
Well, and you could absorb a lot of information,
Right.
which is the point. That's why
But
I'm doing it.
right.
I can read a book while I'm driving
Right.
somewhere. Um, but for a new reader,
It could really stall out the practice of sounding out words, the
right,
practice of
right. Yeah, okay. Um, so the next point is when AI includes engagement, then learning is dramatically
Sure.
increased.
I think we see this in different apps that we use, like learning a language.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are better than others, but the
Mm-hmm.
ones that require your engagement,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to learn faster. You're going to, there's a level of taking in the content, sure, but then like applying it, right?
Okay. Okay. So when we were talking about this, I said kind of like the movie Wall-E,
Yes.
where all the characters are sitting in their chairs and the chair just does things for them,
Right.
or
Like, oh, it's time for you to go here, and it
right.
just takes you
Yeah, or
along.
the computer screen in front of them
Changes.
just did
Right.
things without them having to participate really.
Right.
Okay, let's see if we can apply this to counseling and supervision.
Okay.
If so what we're saying is giving the supervisee information is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
audio, reading a book through audio,
Right.
good, you get all the information. But if you're not really part of the process of learning it, then you're not really learning it.
Right.
You're
Until
not.
you've sat in front of the client doing
Mm-hmm.
the thing, you're
Yeah.
not actually doing
Well,
the
that's what I
counseling
was
part.
going to
Yeah.
say. So if we're talking about AI still, and what we're saying is the tool can be useful and it can maybe make things convenient or faster, but you miss out on something if you're not involved in the actual process. How does that apply to a counseling student or a new supervisee? maybe like writing notes.
Right.
That if right now it is available to most people that you could write a session note using an AI tool. And if you started out that way, what if you never really learned the
To do
process
regular notes.
or
Right.
like the understanding the thought process of documentation?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of comparable to like what I said, listening to an audiobook versus actually
Reading.
reading.
Right.
Then your proficiency reading would increase a lot more quickly if you're actually reading.
Right. And so many times those applications that are currently out are not necessarily gathering the information that is helpful for your note.
Right. Well, they're not. They're getting better at it,
Right.
arguably, but they're not. AI tools are not critical thinkers.
Correct.
So if there's a new counseling student or supervisee and they rely on an AI tool to help them document, they might miss the opportunity.
Right.
Not that it won't come around again, but they miss an opportunity to learn how to document well themselves
Sure.
and know what the difference is. I think
Right.
that's
That
right.
knowing
Isn't
the
that
difference.
point?
Yes, that's the point.
That you can document, it might not be very good quality, but if you don't know what good quality is, how are you going to learn that if you're
Right.
using an AI tool that
Right. You're skipping over the real part, the middle part of the sandwich.
Mm-hmm. So what are ways that we can have really great engagement using an AI tool when we're teaching counselors?
I mean, I think there's different things out there that let us practice like our skills and just assessment maybe
Mhm,
is maybe a good way to start. Being able to assess a situation and maybe read what the AI note puts out and then be able to go back and be like, this is the part that's important.
Okay, do you have an example? I don't know if I know about a tool that will do that.
So right now, one of my supervisees has that availability to do AI notes, and their whole office is using it.
Oh.
So she will bring in the AI note, and we will dissect
Oh.
what is actually
Okay.
going on.
So then you might use the AI tool for part of it, but you're saying to get the engagement you need
Right.
human interaction.
Human people.
I wonder if there's an AI tool that in and of itself creates engagement.
I mean, I don't know about for counselors. Do you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking. Right now I'm teaching at a university, and part of the practicum for these students is that they have access to an AI tool. They're actually required to use the AI tool, and the AI tool is an avatar.
Mm-hmm.
It has a series of different avatars that they can practice with. They're practicing
Mhm.
their counseling skills. I mean, so that is very clearly engagement. The student has to speak to the avatar,
Okay.
and then the avatar responds back. I would say in some cases the students are saying it's really beneficial and they're getting a lot out of it.
Okay.
But like all AI tools, it's not perfect. So sometimes they'll come back and say the AI tool got stuck.
Right. It's
Like,
not working.
I remember one time I thought it was kind of funny. I don't think the student thought it was funny that the AI tool got a little bit confused in its
Okay.
responses, and so the student was reflecting back
Right.
using reflection or summary or something
Mhm.
like that, and that the AI tool said, "I didn't say that." And then they had
Okay.
this
Sounds like-
upset conversation with each other where the avatar was saying, "I never told you what my sister's name was." And the student was like, "Yes, you did.
Right.
I know you told me. I didn't." Right. And then back and forth until kind of the conversation kind of dissolved because
Right.
the avatar just
got stuck.
got stuck. Or that in this software, not all of the avatars have a picture that goes with the voice.
Okay.
And so the students will also say that it would be really great if the avatar also had a face that moved
Okay.
so that they could benefit from the
Reading those,
engagement,
right.
the
Mhm.
engagement of reading someone's facial expressions.
And just those micro tells about
Mhm.
someone's.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I guess my students are in support of this or supporting these ideas that AI tools are useful and they're learning something, but they would be so much more useful and they would learn so much more if there was a higher level of engagement.
Right. And I think they will continue to improve. We've already seen in medical fields that like they have real, almost real life,
Mm-hmm.
scenarios for them to try out in the lab without
Mhm.
actually cutting into a human being or,
Yeah. Maybe a kind of a backwards example. I'm sure that when you and I were in school, you watched some of the very old 1970s
Oh,
kind of
sure. Yeah.
little video clips of someone practicing counseling
Right.
skills. And you and I watched that as a demonstration, and that's maybe our back then the
Right.
best
It's the
version
best version.
of a technology tool
Uh-huh.
and learning. But there was I mean, I would say zero engagement. We were
Sure.
just watching.
Right.
There was
Just
no way to
right.
interact with that.
Right.
That now there would be
Yeah.
ways that someone could interact with
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Did you have we had a lab at our location where it was a two-way mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and like I mean in practice, a professor would just knock on the mirror and be like, "Okay, I read you," because like someone had a script they were reading or whatever
Okay.
to practice. But I've always thought, I don't know, as a client going into that kind of situation, you'd know there's somebody behind the other side of the mirror watching this
Oh.
student do this scenario, but it's almost like real life fake AI when you're
Uh-huh.
practicing those
Uh-huh.
kind of
Uh-huh.
skills. But
Uh-huh.
if they can bring those micro, interactions to AI, it would be a huge improvement.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the last point in the article was that the best application of AI really makes you think. So maybe, okay, we've thought about AI that isn't engaging. We've thought about AI and that engagement makes it better. What if you and I got really creative? Can we think of new and improved applications of AI for the purpose of counseling that we think if someone could figure that out or figure out how to make that work, then we could
Right.
be on to
So
something.
we can be on to something bigger. I think that knowing certain things AI can be good at by just following a checklist, right?
Mhm.
But the actual engagement with the client is different because you can have two people that both have the same diagnosis that respond to that diagnosis differently. So if AI could figure out how to not be cookie cutter and respond to the
Oh, so you're talking about an avatar. If there was an avatar that could do a different diagnosis.
right.
I would say this tool that the school
Mhm.
is using already does that.
That's cool.
Uh-huh.
It's really cool.
Maybe okay. One example, and I'm going to challenge myself to go in a different direction. But using this avatar tool that the students are already using, one of their complaints is that the tool does not understand therapeutic silence.
Oh.
So the student will try to use
Pause.
therapeutic silence for just a second, and the avatar sometimes goes, hello, are you there, what happened? Or even sometimes the AI tool will think something happens and it like resets and starts all the way over.
Oh, like there's like a glitch in the
right
system.
so it doesn't understand the student user being silent.
Right.
So if that could be improved on, I think that would be
sure
a kind of obvious example of
right.
There's some tweaks that could still improve how
right.
we're interacting and how we are using the tool. If it makes us think,
right.
then
well,
it could
and
be
it's
better.
sometimes about asking the right kind of question to the AI, right? About
Mhm.
like going deeper in our search.
Mhm.
If you have to stop and rethink how you're asking the question.
Okay, are we
then-
talking about an avatar? Talking to an avatar?
I think no, not even an avatar. Just like
Mhm.
if you're trying to look something up regarding a client, it's
Oh.
real easy to just like real quick hit an AI answer, but that doesn't give you
So meaning if I don't know, a kid says, Alexa, what's the movie with, and they
right.
description,
Mhm.
but they give such a broad description or
It
non-specific
doesn't. Yeah.
that Alexa says, I don't know, here's a movie, and it makes a
Right.
suggestion that's not correct. Or this makes me think someone with maybe a Texas accent.
Right.
And that AI can't figure out what in the world
that
this
means.
person is talking about because they've got a little bit of a twang.
Right.
That those are ways that it could be
Mhm.
improved on. Or that poor person with a little Texas twang maybe has to stop and think, how am I can't say it more clearly using
Right.
the same words.
How
I have
do
to
I
think
say
of a
this?
different
Yeah.
word to get it to do what I want it
Yes.
to do.
But those types of interactions are what's going to make AI better, but it's also going to make you think more. So
Mhm.
it's like a whole process. The more that you use it and think about it, the better it gets at
Mhm.
knowing those things.
I wonder what else we get. What great creative ideas for an AI tool could we come up with that would benefit counselors? What if Tesla's robot could be an avatar, client avatar, and it could then move and
yeah, it could have
react
more connection with you. Yeah.
That it might have you say, well, you seem really angry about that as the
Mhm.
student counselor,
Mhm.
and the avatar like crosses its
Its arms,
arms like
yes.
it's mad or something. So we could get
We could
something
get
like
there,
that to
right.
happen. Um, may I was gonna say maybe an avatar that's kind of confrontational, but that happens
Sure.
in the current tool we're
Mm-hmm.
using. That
Mm-hmm.
the avatar is a little
Can be
confrontational in some
confrontational.
way.
Sure.
Well, maybe we could spend some time in the next week thinking about what current AI tools we use and how our supervisees are using them, and how we might ask them to use them in an even more effective way to increase
Mm-hmm.
their learning.
It's a great idea.
Heather and I would love to hear about ways that you are applying AI to all the things that you do. We'd also love to hear suggestions for future episodes. Thanks today for listening to Supervision with a Vision.